You might be following the story of the Dallas Mavericks and their unpopular trade of Luka Dončić. Believe it or not, several months later, it's still in the news and still plaguing a lot of Dallas Mavericks fans. So recently, the Mavericks held a media roundtable in order to clear the air and move on. But they told the media that there would be no live streaming of the roundtable. There would be no recordings of any kind, audio or video, that there would be no live social media or live tweeting. They did relent and let reporters bring in audio recordings, but said none of it can be released. And it became very apparent, and even apparent in a lot of the coverage about the media roundtable, that the Mavs were trying to control the environment and to control the media. Different than controlling the narrative. Different than determining what are our messages that we want to get out there. And by a lot of accounts, not only was this media roundtable tense and terse, but the media covered it that way as well. So it kind of backfired. It brought to mind for us some important lessons in media relations that a lot of times we just forget. First and foremost, that is, you're never going to control the media. Here is a situation where the Mavs are trying to build up goodwill in the Bank of Public Trust, be a little bit transparent and open so that the narrative could move on, and it backfired because they wanted to control the media, and the media just wasn't going to allow itself to be controlled. Second, there's oftentimes a misnomer that this is like an advertisement, that we can call up the media and that they'll do something flowery and lovely and wonderful. I remember when I was a reporter getting calls from PR people and saying, let me send you to the sales department and you can buy an ad. Now, certainly there's room for positive coverage, a ribbon cutting or a groundbreaking, or even a nonprofit that earns a record amount of money in a wonderful donation from a philanthropist. But typically the media isn't always necessarily looking for both sides of a story. In a positive news story, they're not going to necessarily go out and find someone who has something bad to say, but they are looking through a discerning lens, and they certainly don't want their piece to just be a marketing fluff piece for whatever brand, organization, or individual they're covering. And third, I think a lot of times brands and people, organizations want to avoid the risk of not being able to control what the media has to say, but then they miss out on the inherent value of that third-party credibility that traditional news media brings. I mean, remember, because of social media, traditional media is now stronger than ever. You can get a placement in a small-town newspaper, and because of social media, that's now a national hit. And there's a lot of value that goes with that if you can get the media to cover your story. But you have to remember, the media will not be controlled. And that's 2 minutes of advice today from Sunwest.